Emergency broadcast. I did say I would be back when it comes to Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively update if there are anything big updates. I'm not gonna come on here and talk about motions and subpoenas. Ugh, a lot of that's boring. A lot of other content creators do it really well and really detail that day to day. But Blake Lively's lawyers are extorting, allegedly, Taylor Swift. Now, with all of this, I have learned so many things from this, but what I have learned is that Blake Lively and Taylor Swift are not friends. They're not friends. Now, I did hear a couple months, because I know some of you guys are like, oh, because she's not posting a video, she's not really up to date. No, I'm so up to date with what's going on. Travis Kelce, which is Taylor Swift's boyfriend, unfollowed her. Now, we don't really know if they followed her to begin with, Ryan Reynolds, sorry. Travis Kelce followed Ryan Reynolds, which is, we know, Blake Lively's husband. So we don't really know if Travis Kelce really followed Ryan Reynolds to begin with, but people are saying that he unfollowed her. To me, when the boyfriend unfollows a person, it's big. When a man unfollows, it's big. A boyfriend of your friend's husband or boyfriend, it's big. Because your boyfriend puts up with a lot. But when it comes to the disrespecting of your girlfriend, it's game over. It's game over. My thing is, Brian Freedman waited 3 months to relay this information. Like, he got this phone call on February 14th, but aren't we now approaching June? Why is he now just telling all of this now? So, anyways, if you're wondering, like, who am I? My name's MJ. I talk about things that I'm about. I am about Blake Lively. I'm here about Justin Baldoni. And I honestly am a big fan. I was a big fan of Blake Lively. I don't know if I am anymore. But I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of Justin Baldoni and his work with, Jane the Virgin, and then Blake Lively of the Traveling Pans. And it's just, like, really weird seeing both of them going through all of this, more so Justin. And the more information comes out, I'm seeing less about the harassment that Blake Lively discussed last year, and more about everything else, the PR, the manipulation, the things like that. Like, it's just... And, like, it goes to show to me as well that Blake Lively has a very strong, like, she's a bulldozer. She's the bulldog behind the scenes. So, which is consistent with everything that's going on right now. So let's get into it. I'm on Reddit, and somebody posted the actual affidavit. So everybody is like, okay, so let me start from the beginning. So Brian Freedman, a few days ago or yesterday, I keep forgetting, but I'm pretty sure it's yesterday or Tuesday, filed a letter with the court and said, hey, Judge Lyman, I want to let you know what's going on in regards to what's happening in a different court. Because I think Blake Lively or Baldoni, like, their cases in different states. Like, I think one in Texas, like one in New York. I think it's one in California. There's also Mr. Wallace's one in Texas, and there's also in New York, which is the primary one. But anyways, Brian Freedman goes, hey, just letting you know, there is a letter. There's some information that you should be aware. Also, before I continue, I apologize for my appearance. I could be presented more, but this is kind of like emergency broadcast. Hopefully that's okay. Anyways, so apparently Brian Freedman got a phone call on February 14th from a member of Taylor Swift camp. We don't know who that is, but Brian Freedman has said in the letter, which he filed a few days ago or yesterday, is that he's willing to share who that person is. Now, today, the reason why it's such an urgent broadcast is because Brian Freedman has dropped an affidavit. Anybody who knows an affidavit is that you are pleading to facts being true, right? You can basically say that the facts that you have witnessed, it's not hearsay because you're involved. The facts that you are witnessed are now evidence now. You can say that they are true. The facts that you witnessed are true in an affidavit. When you swear to an affidavit, you're saying the information in the affidavit is true, which means the affidavit is used as evidence. That's why it's huge. Before it was like, okay, He asked 32 days ago, but it was like, okay, he just wrote a letter. We have no evidence. Okay, Brian Freedman is alleging that, Blake Lively extorted Taylor Swift. Cool. But if a lawyer is going on an affidavit, swearing on an affidavit, stating that these facts to be true, and we're saying that Brian Freedman heard it from a very credible person, he was told by a person in Blake Lively's camp for this stuff to be true. Okay, so we're seeing a lawyer swear that these facts are true, that he heard it. So it's not hearsay. He's involved. He got a phone call. And so he's putting it on record. Now it's evidence. Now that's why it's a huge deal, because Brian Freedman is ready to testify and be like, yes, I heard that somebody tried to extort Taylor Swift. Now, let's talk about the extortion. Let's talk about it. Now, we're saying that 4 or 5, so in this phone call, the person from Taylor Swift's camp is saying that 4 or 5 months ago, let's read the actual affidavit. So a person actually posted the affidavit on Reddit. Now, I can't really download the actual affidavit. Some documents are available on the docket, some documents are not, because you need to sign in and log in, you have to pay for the documents. I don't want to do that. So some person did post the affidavit. So Brian Freedman is saying, I submit this affidavit in opposition to the motion to strike filed on May 14th by Blake Lively regarding my May 14th letter. So it was yesterday. Elaborating on the basis for Wayfair subpoena to Venable LLP. On February 14, 2025, I received a voicemail from a person very closely to Taylor Swift, it was a voicemail. Someone called the law firm of Brian Freedman, left the voice. That is crazy. It wasn't even a conversation. Okay, so let's see. Very closely linked to Taylor Swift, whom I subsequently called back the same day. Okay, so it was a phone call. Never mind. Got a voicemail. Brian then called the person back. Out of respect for the individual in question, I am not identifying them at this time. However, should the court direct me to do so, I will comply with the court's order. During the February 14th phone call, which lasted approximately 1 hour, the speaker told me that they had been informed that J. Douglas Baldridge, counsel for Taylor Swift, and a partner at Venable LLP. So we have Baldridge, which is Taylor Swift's lawyer, and another lawyer at this law firm, had received a phone call from Michael Gottlieb. Gottlieb is one of Blake Lively's many high-powered paying lawyer. During which Mr. Gottlieb requested, on Blake Lively's behalf, which we'll talk about, that Taylor Swift make a social media statement in support of Miss Lively given her absence from the Super Bowl that year, and stated if Miss Swift failed to do so, Blake Lively would release 10 years of private text messages with Taylor Swift. The individual also told me that they had been informed that Mr. Baldridge had accused Mr. Gottlieb of extortion and ended the call. So the individual also told me that they had been informed that, so especially I'm going to say this at the very end. I'm going to have my thoughts at the very end. I'm just going to read the statements, okay? During the same February 14th call, the individual told me that they had been informed that 4 or 5 months earlier, Miss Lively had requested that Miss Swift delete her text messages with Miss Lively. I was connected to this individual through a mutual friend who informed me that an individual wanted to talk. We have had several phone calls since February 14. So they've been having many phone calls since February 14. Which I'll, my thoughts at the end. But on a later call with the same individual, the individual told me that the Mr. Baldridge had sent a written communication to Mr. Gottlieb relating to their phone conversation. My office issued a subpoena to Venable LLP for the purpose of seeking the aforementioned written communication. I declare under penalty of perjury pursuant to section 28 that the foregoing is true. So Mr. Brian Freedman is saying that everything that he's saying in this is completely true. It is very crazy. So let me show you my thoughts. I'm gonna share you my thoughts. Now, so number one, February 14th. It's been a long time. They took 3 months, but Brian did say they've had subsequent phone calls since then. Okay, trying to figure out probably what to do, what is the best course of action, getting Justin Baldoni's instructions. The next thing I wanted to talk about, on Blake Lively's behalf. Now, if you're on the Blake Lively team, and y'all know I'm on no one's team, but if I'm on if you're on Blake Lively's team, you're probably like, oh, the lawyer acted crazy and he shouldn't have done that. Because at the end of the day, a lawyer, any legal worker, any law professional is acting on the client's behalf. They cannot do anything without the client's instructions and the client's directions. Now, there are lawyers who are, have gone too far, and maybe they do things before the client says yes, that's okay, and so forth, and that is the client's responsibility to control the person that they've hired, which is the lawyer. With that being said, I don't know how Blake is going to come out of this hole, and especially when Brian has now said that this is basically evidence, this is wrong, can't believe this, I'm ready to testify to this effect. 10 years of private text. So Blake Lively wanted Taylor Swift to make a statement stating that why she couldn't attend the Super Bowl, which is so freaking insane. Like, who cares if you didn't attend the Super Bowl? Like, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Like, who cares? Yes, people who are in pop culture knew about your absence, noted it, they discussed it, they made it a big deal at the time. But the majority of people don't care if Blake Lively attended something or not. And the attendance of a Super Bowl game should not be, something that's big in your image. Like, it shouldn't be something that you should be worried about as a person who's trying to repair your image at this time, and a person who's trying to repair your reputation. Like, who cares if you attended the Super Bowl? Like, it's not like you had a brand deal. It's not like you had a boyfriend or husband who's in the Super Bowl. Like, who cares? But apparently, really, cared a lot to Blake Lively, and she wanted Taylor Swift to make a statement. Just how Blake Lively wanted Justin Baldoni to make a statement in regards to all the things that's what was going on and that was said about Blake Lively late last year. So all of this behavior to me is consistent with Blake Lively has done. And because even with the Justin Baldoni statement, they never said that they didn't write that statement. They actually confirmed, like, yes, we wrote that statement. We wanted Justin Baldoni to say all of that because of what he allegedly did to us, right? With that being said, 10 years of text messages. Like, who has 10 years of text messages? I don't even have last week's. You know what I mean, girls? I don't have last week's. So, obviously, you can get 10 years of text messages if you, contact the phone company and they can give you all of that. Which is just so crazy. But yeah, this person ended up having, subsequent conversations over these 3 months after February 14th. But 4 or 5 months ago, Blake Lively instructed Taylor Swift to delete her text messages. Now, here's my thing with this. I'm not really surprised that Blake Lively told Taylor Swift to do this. I think everybody's like, oh my God, Blake, because everybody thinks that they know these celebrities. Again, we don't know any of these celebrities. We don't know any of these individuals. I'm not surprised. A lot of white rich people love to squirt corners and do all these types of things. I'm not surprised that she asked Taylor Swift to do this. In fact, it was kind of expected. But I'm surprised that Taylor Swift is not only saying no, but also I'm telling the public, I'm telling on you, I'm telling on the court. Because Taylor Swift is not only Blake Lively's best friend, but also Blake Lively's godmother. So it's like, you would think there would be some type of loyalty or solidarity there, but there isn't any. And that's what's surprising to me, which has signaled to me they're done. They're done as friends. And Blake Lively has, not Blake Lively, but Taylor Swift's people in camp have kind of whispered that, Taylor Swift is done with Blake Lively because Blake Lively just sees Taylor Swift as a come up, which we all knew. It was kind of obvious, but okay. As you're trying to use Taylor Swift for whatever, to help your image, to help your brand, whatever the hell that is. I don't know how that would help. Okay, you and her are friends, but who cares? I don't think anybody really cares except both of you guys. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I'm not really surprised. I think a lot. Like, I just created a TikTok on this, and I don't think people are not liking what I have to say, because I'm not really surprised that the white rich billionaire girly asks her best friend to delete text messages in a trial. Like, I'm not surprised. That's what white rich people do. They break the law and they squirt around them. Like, look what they do with the taxes. I owe taxes each and every year. You know that? I owe taxes each and every year. I do, girls. I do. I owe taxes. Okay, and I every single year I'm like, what? How can I pay less taxes? I can't. You know what I mean? So like, what are the rich people doing? You know what I mean? Like, this is what rich people. What is what white rich people do? So it's just, when I say pay taxes, like, I don't have any like a tax rebate that gives given to me. Like, I think when I was in school, this is such a tangent. But I think when I was in school, I think I had it because of like education. I don't know. But now I have none. So it's crazy. I pay a lot in taxes. I get no tax rebate. I'm personally a law-abiding citizen. Like, I will follow the law to a T, even if it makes me a loser, loner, square, goody two shoes. I don't care. Call me all the names in the damn book. I will follow the law. Okay, the law's there for a reason. And Blake Lively, the witch right woman, is like, yeah, no, delete your text. And I'm not surprised. So I'm surprised that Taylor Swift, though, has come out to say all of this about her so-called friend. It's game over to me. It's the craziest thing. I don't know how Blake Lively's going to come out of this. I know we are in the part of like getting evidence and things like that. So I don't know how Blake Lively is really going to come out. Like, how are they going to fight this? Like, even if because obviously Judge Lyman doesn't want to deal with this. Hopefully that's the judge's name. Anyways, apparently Judge Lyman doesn't want to deal with this, which is fine. But the entire public knows now. And now the entire public knows who Blake Lively is. And it's just, it does not look good. Does not look good. And sure, you can blame the lawyer, and I'm sure Blake Lively is probably going to fire the lawyer. It's probably going to fire Gottlieb. Okay, it's probably going to fire Gottlieb and probably hire other individuals. But honestly, maybe because I've worked with lawyers, this is kind of like, a lot of lawyers are quite powerful, not in their money and status and in how they practice law. They're quite forceful in how they practice law, and a lot of the times for no reason. Like, a lot of them would be so forceful. It's like, listen, we can really just be like kind and coordinated. Just because, like, yes, we disagree on certain issues and we're on opposing counsel, but you don't have to threaten me. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you could just ask and I can tell you no. Like, you don't threaten me. Like, you know what I mean? Don't extort me. Like, it sounds insane. So, again, it's not really surprising that a high, powerful, paid lawyer that everybody knows, that's up in, like, one of the best lawyers, like, a celebrity lawyer that did this. Like, that's also surprising to you. Is the fact that Taylor Swift snitched on all y'all. That is surprising to me. Yeah, I think I do like Taylor Swift a little bit more now. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts, girls, guys, everything. Stay healthy, y'all. Stay healthy. And I'll see you guys on the next update, because there sure is a lot of them. I'll let you know how that goes. Deuces.